Welcome to the Evening Review edition this evening. My name is Jemima Beatrice, your host for this evening. Before we go into our next interview, let's have a look at tomorrow's headlines. Welcome back. Now, last week, President Hage Geingob relaxed some of the health regulations in the face of COVID-19. People are now allowed to gather 200 people limit at official gatherings. Shops are allowed to continue with the sale of alcohol. However, nightclubs are not allowed to extend their hours, and they must still close shop only at 11 o'clock at night. So today we are speaking to Mr. Philip Ajueshi. He is from the Union of Night Liquor Business Operators. He will talk to us about the impact COVID-19 has had on nightclubs and the proposals that they have submitted to the Health Ministry. Thank you for joining us, Philip.
Thank you very much.
Now, Philip, please give us a background about this union. When was it started and why was it started?
The union is actually 2 months old, 2-3 months there. And we're busy with all legal registration, also to put it in the Gazette and all that. That is on the process. But we've already come together. We are about 35 nightclubs from the 14 regions in Namibia that came together for this union. That's approximately 94% of nightclubs in Namibia nationwide. Yes. And we came together as a union because of the COVID, the regulations, not the COVID. The problem with the nightclubs today, it's not COVID. It's the regulations that is the problem. Got people saying COVID has killed the economy, COVID is killing everything. It's not COVID. It's the management of the COVID. How do you manage it? Which I could translate that to mean the regulations. How do you regulate this whole situation? And that's the problem why we decided no. Individually, members have gone to the authorities to lay their complaints. It fell on deaf ears. We realized we need to come together as a union nationwide, as one voice. They are forced to listen because it's not a one man's interest, it's a national interest. So that's what the union is all about. It's to protect the national interest of nightclub owners of Namibians.
So before we go into the interest of the nightclub owners, what kinds of businesses do you represent? Obviously nightclubs, you have lounges, and what kind of businesses do you represent?
We represent those that are licensed to operate in the night between the hours of 21 to 5 o'clock in the morning. That includes casinos anyway. But we're yet to have the casino industry join in the union. But it's basically for nightclubs and casinos because we both operate in the night. So at the moment we just have nightclub members, nightclub owners in this union, not for bar. This is not a bar union, I'm sorry. It's not a Shebeen union. Those are guys, Shebeens and bars are operators in the day. Between the hours of 22 hours in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, till sometime between the hours of 22 hours in the night or 12 midnight. But that's about the time we are just opening. That's when we're starting. When they're closing, we are starting in the nightclubs. And you must understand the capital intensiveness, what it costs to open a nightclub. The requirement for a nightclub is really very strict. It's a lot of money to put a nightclub together in terms of requirement to get a license. It's not the same with a bar and a shebeen. A bar and a shebeen, you can just rent a small 4 meter by 4 meter shop and put a bar and a bartender. You'll be given a license for a shebeen as long as there's one toilet. One, it's just enough. You don't need security guards, you don't need bouncers, you don't need waiters, you just need one bartender. Then you get a shebeen license. It's more or less less than $1,000 in a month for the year. But for a nightclub, you need space, more like a warehouse. Because for a nightclub, you entail space for it to contain dance floor. It should be spacious. You should have a VIP section. It should be spacious. You should have a bar section. It should be spacious, not necessarily spacious, but you should have a bar section. You should have bartenders, not one, two. Most especially for a nightclub, you must have top-notch security agency working for you and bouncers. These two are unnegotiable. Then your toilet is a minimum of 4. 2 for the ladies, 2 for the guys, minimum. These are regulations for nightclub. And another one is soundproofing, because there is a law against noise pollution. So you have to put a soundproof or some form of soundproof for your venue to keep the sound from polluting the environment, noise for the residents of the area. And I can tell you, for a soundproofing for a 4 by 4, the one for the bar, if I should soundproof that, is 100,000 Namibian dollars. So imagine to soundproof a warehouse. So you can imagine what nightclub owners invest to own a license to trade in the night. We're looking at a minimum of 1 million Namibian dollars.
Per month?
No, to put the structure,
to set it up.
To set it up. So it's not the same business plan. They are not the same industry. We all have liquor in common, but one industry is in the night, the other industry is in the day. It's not the same. Yes.
Now, you were talking about capital-intensive business.
Yes.
It being the nightclub.
Yeah.
Can you just run us through how nightclub owners were affected or impacted by these regulations brought?
Oh my goodness. Jemima, you have no idea what the suffering amongst nightclub owners in the past 19 months. Most nightclubs have closed down. As I speak with you, nightclubs in Rundu have closed, right? Nightclubs in the south, somewhere in Ludritz, Keetmansrup, have closed. Nightclubs in Erongo have closed. There are nightclubs closing everywhere. Nightclubs in Ondangwa, Ngwadiva, have closed. Just the regulations is really very shrewd, and it's unfair. An unfair regulation. This is not justice. This is injustice by the authorities putting the nightclub in such a situation. Since March 2020, there was a shutdown. And the shutdown involves every other person anyway, the entire nation. However, it was released in June for only the bar owners, not the nightclub owners. Mind you, these are nightclub owners paying rent.
Average
every month.
How much is it average per month?
Like, if I should mention the nightclub of some of the it's not the same.
Yes, of course,
for every person owning a nightclub, but I could mention for 2 of my members, one pay 40,000 a month here in Windhoek, another one in Katima Mulilo pays 10,000 a month. All right, and I have another member that pays close to 100,000 a month. This is not a joke. This is real. Imagine you shut down a nightclub. You choose to open the liquor to sell, and you only open the bar and shebeen that pays 2,000 a month. The impact on the nightclub owners is massive. A lot of us have to go borrow from cash loan to pay rent. And we have to let go our staffs. Most of them, we have to let go a lot of staffs because we can't continue. Now, they decided to bring back the nightclubs in the picture, maybe some few months after. But they decided to combine them with shebeens to work together at the same hours. And that's wrong. That's so wrong. This is 2 separate kind of business. You can't combine shebeen and a nightclub to trade in the same hours. A nightclub makes its profit from the gate entrance and extra markup on the liquor. For example, if in the bar you get a beer for $22, in a nightclub you get it for $25. So the little extra markup is how we make enough to pay those security companies, pay cleaners, pay bouncers, pay the rent, just this little tiny markup, and the gate entrance fee of maybe $50 to get in, or $20. Now, when you combine a nightclub and a shebeen to trade in the same hours, no one goes to the nightclub because it's free entrance in a shebeen and a bar. So we are waiting for the guys to come through. They are not coming. They're all in the shebeens and the bar. Now, here's what happens. When the bar and the shebeen is closed at 10:22, they all troop down to the nightclub. But I can't operate it. The regulation says 22 hours, we must all close. I'm sorry, I can't open my doors. And this is what is going on for 19 months. It's really bad. We have complained and nothing was done. Nothing, totally. 19 months. Imagine you're paying $40,000 a month for 19 months. A lot of these guys that own shebeens and bars, they own farms in one place in the north. Every single Namibian have a family member that own a bar. I'm sure you have one compound family member that own a bar or a shebeen somewhere. I also have one that own a bar or shebeen somewhere. It's just the national business for every single person. So all the politicians, all the regulators, authorities, every single one have one family or five family member that own a bar shebeen, but they don't have one
Nightclub.
that have a nightclub. Every day, their family member is suffering during the lockdown. I'm referring to last year. They listened to their family member and gave them the bar to open. Because the nightclubs is not like popular in terms of we are the minority, so to speak.
Yes.
No one is looking at the matter of a nightclub. No one is looking at us. The problem here is unfair. This is not fair. You can't treat majority better than the minority. If you do one for majority, do the same one for minority. It's the law. You can't treat just the shebeens and bar special, and then you guys are married to you guys go and die. That's what they're telling us. We have run into debts. As I speak with you, most of our members are crying, really, because they can't afford. Namibians have lost their jobs. This is not about the owner of the nightclub. This is about staffs that are at home jobless right now. The impact of this regulation has taken food from out of the mouth of Namibians, out of kids. This is serious. This is very, very serious. Yeah.
Now, you were very unhappy when the regulations were announced last week.
Yeah.
Can you share with us where your unhappiness stems from?
Okay, here's the thing. When we started the union, we decided, okay, let's approach the president. I'm the national coordinator. We've got a spokesperson, we've got all the leaders, but I'm the coordinator. I do like the administration. I called the office of the president, and the ladies there said, no, Mr. Philip, this is not the office you're supposed to come state your complaint to. State your complaint to either the Minister of Health or the Prime Minister. These two are in charge of the COVID Regulation Committee. These two are the advisory personalities to the president. It was clear, made to me. So I came back to the union. This is what I got from the office of the president. Who do we approach? It's not easy to have the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health on one table. It's quite difficult. Both of them have different schedules, so we have to choose one. So we decided, I think the Health Minister is the most important person here, because he deals, COVID is a health-related matter. It is directly in a matter for his office compared to the Prime Minister. So we decided to go to the Health Minister, Mr. Honorable Shangula. We called the office of the Honorable Minister, and they gave us appointment on the 29th of September. We have to coordinate members of the union from different regions to travel far to Windhoek. I came from Otapi. That's 9 hours drive, just to give you an idea. So we were there with all these complaints on the table, and we made it clear to the minister. The minister was there with the executive director of the Ministry of Health. And we were explaining to him, you can't combine a shebeen and a nightclub to trade in the same hours. We made it very clear. We expressed our grievances in numbers. Is a long list. I don't have to go into that here.
Of course, yeah.
But the bottom line is our grievances were expressed to the minister. And we told the minister, we don't want to behave like shebeens and bar going to the streets with protest. We believe in dialogue, and that's why we're here. We want to negotiate an extra 2-3 hours after bar and shebeens have closed, which is after 22 hours. We could probably go till 12 midnight or 1 in the morning. And we'll do with that until you feel it's time to bring us back till 5 in the morning, our normal time. All that was said, he listened. He said he heard. He would respond to it. He will look into this matter. It's a very serious matter. Our suffering is heard. He understood our suffering, and we are not selling anything, and we're paying rent. All I've explained on TV today, on air, he understood clearly, and he said he's going to look into it. And I asked the question among the members of the union. I decided to ask a question. I said, sir, can we get a response in 5 days? Because 29th till 15th, the next media hearing from the president is like 2-3 weeks. And that's a long time. We are really suffering. We need immediate help to make income. And he said to me, the reason why I said 5 days is because the last protest by the shebeen and bar owners nationwide was done. I can't remember the day. But the president responded in 5 days. And because their closing hours was 18 hours, and it was a takeaway situation, takeaway basis. Not, you can't drink in a bar and sit. You have to buy and go. Only nightclubs were given 3 hours, between that 18 hours till 22, we and the casinos. But after the protests, the president 5 days later announced, all of you join together, new regulation. So we only enjoyed the 3 hours for like probably 10 days when the new regulation came and released the nightclubs. It was like 10 days or 7 days we enjoyed it. The new announcement came, and shebeens and bar owners are to join. 5 days after protest, that was quick. So I said, sir, can we also get 5 days response to be fair to nightclub owners and casino owners? This complaint on the table now. And the Honorable Minister said to us, no, you can't. Due to some reasons of cost and logistics reasons, we can't be every time going on air and stuff like that. We have to wait till the 15th, the official hearing date. And I was like, oh, that's not fair. But I didn't want to voice it out. I kept quiet. I said, okay, sir. 15th came. What did we get? Nothing. They released, took off the curfew, but the hours to close at 10, it was the same. It was so heartbreaking. That is the problem here.
So are you going to reach out to more government ministries? You have called on the president?
I haven't called on the president yet. Excuse me. However, we want to speak with the Minister of Justice. Reason being that she is in charge of Gazette. and she's one of the advisors to the president. So we prefer to make our first point of discussion with the Minister of Justice, Honorable Yvonne. We are hoping to meet with her today or tomorrow, hopefully, if she can give us an appointment and express our grievances to her. We did email her a copy of the draft we sent to the Minister of Health, because after the verbal meeting, we did send a draft. So that same draft we forwarded to the Minister of Health to show reference that we've been coming a long way with this complaint from the Minister of Health's office. And here is the same draft. Can you help us? You know, so we're hoping.
So what are your plans if your complaints continue to fall on deaf ears?
We have to go to knock the doors of the president. This is an open door policy of the Namibian government. The president has to open the door. He has to. But we don't want to go knock on the president's door. Listen, I will tell you this. The president acts on the feedback from his ministers. The ministers are not doing 100% the feedback. They might tell him, look, we need to open the night for business, for economic reasons. But did you tell the president that people are suffering in the nightclub because of these regulations? Did you really tell the president? I know my president. He responds immediately when he gets to see that. Did you really tell the president? Are you giving half the information to the president? God, I want to believe that's what is going on. The president is not getting the total picture of what is going down on the grassroots. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the pain. He doesn't. And our ministers are not doing their job, telling our excellency, this is the problem of our people. So we have to go do it ourselves. That's the last bus stop.
Now, in conclusion, the nightclubs have come under a lot of criticism for the widespread of COVID-19 and the overcrowdedness. Can you just share with us the regulations that your members, have put in place to make sure people stay safe?
First of all, I have to correct you somewhere there. COVID is not spread in the nightclubs. You're wrong. I'm sorry. COVID is spread out there. COVID is spread due to lack of discipline.
Yes.
Now, lack of discipline is not the nightclub is not a school of lack of discipline. It's just it's your home, your personal life, how you live your life. That you determine if you're going to get COVID or not, because of the discipline now to obey regulations and all that. So nightclub is not the problem here. I would say the bars are supposed to be the ones with the hammer, because they've just got 4x4 probably space. We've got warehouses enough to space 1.5 meters each person.
But do you?
We do. Well, we haven't been given the opportunity to show that in the first place, because we haven't been given any hours to operate on to show. But we've got the facility, we've got the structure to execute those regulations.
Yes.
But we've not been given any benefit of doubt. But then you've been given it to a shebeen. Some shebeens are just zinc without walls. Have you been to the location and see bars and shebeens? Yes. With license, a zinc 3 meters from 3 meters, packed. Some of them even sell tombo. And you gave those people permission to operate and left out the ones with a structure. Oh man, the authorities should wake up. I'm sorry, they are just sleeping. I don't know what they're doing really. Somebody need to talk some sense into their heads. You left the industry that has a structure. We already have bouncers. We already have security personnel that enforces regulations that will come to you. Excuse me, can you please put on your mask? You're not drinking. We have that in place. You left these guys and gave the benefit of doubt to a shebeen that has no guard, no security, no structure, no space. Jesus, oh my God. What are these guys thinking? I don't understand. This is so disappointing, really.
Yes, I understand.
We are willing to even create a section, VIP section for people that are vaccinated.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, we did mention that to the health minister. If you would buy the idea, everyone comes to the nightclub, but if you're having a vaccination card, you enter a section for vaccinated people in the same hall because we've got space.
Yes, of course.
So now you could have vaccinated people in a section. They don't have to wear masks because if you're vaccinated, then there's no need. You can watch soccer in England. People don't wear masks in the stadium because they're all vaccinated. All. Yeah, they don't keep space. They are sitting next to each other, glued. That's the essence of we promoting vaccination in the first place. So that section is people with freedom to enjoy themselves all through the night. But you are the other section. Some guy is telling you, hey, keep your distance, put on your mask. So it's a promotion for vaccination because you feel like bad. No, I'm going to get vaccinated tomorrow. I want to join the other guys free there. Do you realize we're actually helping this fight against COVID? If this ministry could listen to us, we put it on writing. It's there. The draft is there. We propose a lot of items there. We propose a control officer that will be employed specially for that purpose all across the nation. All the nightclubs will be enforced with that request. A lot.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us, Philip.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in. God bless.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.